Hi everyone, I'm Belinda. Welcome to my studio.
With a light hand, just lay in the basic shapes in pencil. Pen and ink has been used in art for centuries. Traditionally, it was used as a monochromatic or single color art form. Do a Google image search for pen and ink and Van Gogh and you'll see some beautiful examples of this. There are all sorts of techniques used in pen and ink drawings, from stippling to splattering and cross-hatching. For this video, we're just going to use simple shapes, just an outline. The paper I'm using is Strathmore Bristol Plate Finish, and the pens are both waterproof and archival, and I'll have them listed in the Show More section beneath the video window. In this still life arrangement, I was interested in the pattern on the fabric and how it mimics the shape and color of the apples on the plate. The drawing and then the painting of this image took almost a full day in the studio. While I work, I listen to audiobooks and podcasts. Listening to a book while making art keeps the part of your brain that's fussy and tight occupied. The act of listening to a story softens your grip on the pen and loosens your line work. And a compelling story will keep you in your studio making art for a lot longer. I listen to books from audible.com, but you can also get them at your local library. In this clip, I am just laying in the first transparent glazes. And if you are unfamiliar with using glazing in watercolor, I'll include a link to a little primer video that I did in the Show More section underneath the video window. Since I'm using plate finish Bristol paper and then single layers of transparent color, the pigments are very luminous. These first layers are mostly yellow ochre and sap green, mixed with plenty of water so that they are very transparent. I'm using warm colors throughout to give the piece a cohesive look, and then I'll add cooler colors as I go. The curved shapes and dots of the fabric pattern underneath the plate will act as a frame around my focus of interest, which is the apples. If you don't have any fun patterned fabric to use underneath a still life like this, look for colorful remnants in your local fabric store or use sheets of wrapping paper or printable patterns off the internet. So here you can see one of the benefits of glazing, and that is that you can alter the temperature of the color. In the first glazes, I was working primarily with warm, and now I'm starting to cool things with different shades of blue. This is ultramarine mixed with a little bit of indigo. Now I'm adding some Van Dyke brown mixed with a little bit of alizarin crimson. By glazing, or adding one layer of pigment color on top of the other, you can see that when it goes on wet, it's pretty dark, and then as it dries, it gets much lighter. This gives you an opportunity to squint and check your source material or your reference photo or your still life and compare lights and darks and values. If a passage is too light, you continue to add layers and layers until you get it saturated or dark enough so that it matches what you're trying to render. While laying in the color, I noticed that the curve in the apples and the curve in the pattern on the fabric, which is what drew me to this in the first place, started to compete a little bit. And if I want the apples to be the star of the show, that means I have to make some adjustments to the pattern in the background. Plate finish Bristol doesn't absorb the pigments. They stay on the surface, so when you re-wet them, they can move around. So what I'm doing is glazing with a soft gray, holding my brush at an angle so that I'm just barely dragging the pigment over the fabric area, and I'm darkening it just a smidgen. If you find you need to darken an area further, you have to wait for this layer to dry before you add more, otherwise you'll just create mud. So my hope is by knocking the contrast back just a little bit on the pattern underneath the plate, I will allow the apples to be the star of the show. This is titled Afternoon Snack.
Okay, so thanks so much for watching. If you're curious about any of the supplies I used while making this video, I've listed all of them with links in the Show More section beneath the video window. You can also, in the comment section beneath the video window, leave any questions or comments you have and I'll get right back to you. Don't forget to subscribe too so that you don't miss any of the upcoming videos I have in the works for you. And if you have a friend who's learning how to draw and sketch and is interested in learning pen and ink techniques or watercolor techniques, feel free to share the video with them. I hope it's helpful to them and to you. Thank you so much for visiting today, and I'll see you next time in the studio. Don't forget to make something. See you soon. Bye.